Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking this time out to listen. Today, I'm talking about brokenness, attracting brokenness in dating. Okay? Brokenness. On the inside, you are grappling with whatever issues, problems with family members, problems from a previous relationship, struggling with money woes, all of that typical stuff that many of us have. You may have gone through a traumatic experience, had some health issues, or was in an accident, and now you're trying to get through all of the post-traumatic stress syndrome and everything else, okay? But let's just say that you decide that you want to start dating. Despite all of these issues, you're like, you know what? I want to start dating. I think it's a great thing to do right now. It'll take my mind off of losses that I've had. It'll just put me in one of those times of happiness and just doing me. Okay. Let's just make this message a bit light for the moment. So you're excited. You're going on these different websites. You're meeting different people. You're laughing. You're having a good time, exchanging emails and so forth. Okay. You're talking to your friends about these different people you're meeting. So, it's a nice little pick-me-up, right? Looking at people's pictures and stuff like that. And then eventually you meet these folks. Okay. And then you find out they got their share of issues just like you. Some of them you don't want to date because they're reminding you too much of the stuff. Okay. Maybe it was the divorce. Maybe it was the death of a loved one or what have you. And now they got the same issues. Well, guess what? I don't want to hear all of this. And this guy, I don't really like him too much because of the way he looks or what have you. He's too old or he's too young or he's just not my type. And then maybe, you continue on in your dating and you eventually find somebody who, okay, I guess we could get along. There's some things about them, though, that remind you of somebody in your family. Uh-oh, red alert. Red alert. Why would that be a red alert, though, right? Because, hey, somebody reminding you of someone in your family, that's not so bad, is it? Is it? Well, it is if that person is dysfunctional, toxic, backsliding, a little bit off. Oh, yeah, it is a problem. Because you see, a broken person feeling quite comfortable with that familiar spirit, that one that reminds you of someone in your family, and that family member is broken. Yeah, that is a red alert. And so you're attracted though to that because it's familiar and it's fun. And it's not all bad, right? It's not all bad initially. Of course not. When the enemy is moving upon us in our brokenness, one thing about it, things always start off nice and fun and delightful. And we have a great time, don't we? Those of us who have gone down lover's lane of brokenheartedness and cheating and craziness, okay? It always starts off fun and nice. But then you continue to meet with this person and you learn some things about them and you start finding out that not only were you not completely attracted to the way they looked, but, you kind of cast that aside because you didn't want to be shallow. But then you start noticing that there's some unattractive qualities about the person too. And then, that stuff that reminded you of the relative or the friend or what have you, that stuff was the ugly stuff. It wasn't the good stuff. Most of it. It's like, wait a minute, what did I get myself into? But, what do? We dismiss things, don't we? We just say, oh, you know what? I'm reading too much into this. This person is really nice. Nice. I did a video a long while back talking about when nice gets you into trouble. Everything's so nice, right? It always starts off nice. People are nice. The atmosphere is nice. The music is good. Everything starts off nice. But how much are you willing to put up with just to be with nice? How much are you willing to put up with when you're already going through yourself, when you're already broken, and then this person is broken too. You see, a lot of this brokenness took place long before we met the individuals. Okay? They were already broken. But you see, one thing I don't like about some of these folks, that they know they're broken, they don't mind telling you that they're broken at times, is that this prideful spirit will come up and will try to convince you that they're not broken and that you're the problem. That's the part that I can't stand with some folks. You see, you were already messed up before I showed up. So then you want to blame me during a dispute, the reason why I feel this way is because of you. Are you sure about that? Let's check your track record. You see. So you're dating a broken person and you're already going through some brokenness. Well, two wrongs are not going to make a situation right now, is it? But you know what we like to do? We like to go around and tell people, oh, everything's okay. It's all right. I mean, I'm not really, all that caught up in this whole thing. Are you sure about that? Because, see, sometimes people will say that after they found out a whole bunch of stuff about someone. Oh, well, I was never all that in love or like with this individual. It was just it wasn't nothing really. It sure looks like something to me. Now let's complicate some things. Let's throw in a sudden pregnancy. How about that? In our little example. So we went from dating someone, and then we got to know them, and we knew that there were some things about them that we didn't particularly like, but we dismissed them. And then, of course, the person reminded us of some folks in our family who were quite toxic and what have you. But you know what? We dismissed that too. And we continued to date them and so forth. And now things are getting pretty heated, arguments every now and again. But for the most part, we get along. Sudden pregnancy. Now, this can be a bit difficult to deal with. And please forgive me if you are pregnant right now and going through. Because some of the things that I'm going to say, yeah, of course they're going to be cutting. These messages are that way if you've listened to me long enough. Because now you're having a baby with somebody that you're not completely sold out on. And now you feel obligated to be with them. Because, well, you're pregnant. Or maybe you're not the woman that's listening, but you're the man. You're expecting a son or daughter. And you're not all that happy about it. Not in the least. Because you see, you already had your issues. And now a baby's going to come along, and those issues are going to magnify some things. The arguments don't go away. Personalities, I hate to say it, but as we get older, they don't always turn out to be so nice either, right? They have their quirks about them. And then top it all off with some more stuff, more losses, more problems, throw in some health issues. Oh, it's a lot. And you know what? Brokenness can't handle all of that. Brokenness was already broken going into the relationship. Brokenness continued to grow while you were in a relationship. Now you throw in children. It only intensifies some things. And all the while, God is saying, when are you going to ask me to heal you from all of this stuff? When are you going to ask me to give you some strength? Do you really want this or not? Oftentimes, broken people don't want it. It's just a reality. Because even if you did heal from the old stuff and now you got the new stuff that you're dealing with that keeps breaking your heart, it's unfortunate, but you just sometimes don't get over some things. And then God is saying, well, I can heal you if you want. But that you got to want to be healed, and you got to want to be in a relationship. And some folks say, this is just too much. I can't do it, Lord. And so the relationship comes to an end. Because one thing we have to remember in any relationship, it takes two to work on a relationship. And a lot of times broken people, they want to be the ones to sit back in the chair, put their feet up on the footstool, and just let everybody else take care of their bandages and change, them, put the medicine on the wounds, even though things continue to hurt. Things are not healing like they should. A doctor needs to take a look at some of this stuff. But, they want everybody else to do for them. Why can't she be everything to me? Why can't he do everything for me? I can hear this sort of thing in the spirit. And God said, I didn't equip man and woman in a way to help you in every single area of your life. There are some things that are off limits to men and women that only I can heal. So, broken person, God wants you to say, I need your help, Lord. This is too much. A long time ago, some of us was instructed to just let go and let God. And so we may have listened and we may not have. Some of us are being told that same thing right now. Let go and let God. God is going to do something in some of your lives because you are determined to do what is right finally for you, and that is to heal from your broken self. You want God to put the pieces back together. You don't want to hold on to all of the different alters and personalities to protect your core any longer. You don't want to hold on to money and the promises that somebody gave you that they were going to do this, that, and the other. And that's part of the reason why you're broken, because too many people break their promises. Okay? Too many people say that they're going to do things and they don't do them. Too many people say that I'm going to help you with this and I'm going to be there for you on that. And then the minute you have a moment, Lord Jesus, where you don't meet expectations, they don't want to do for you. It's a passive aggressive technique. You didn't do what I expected you to do. The broken person says, who sits back in the chair with their feet up on the footstool, expecting everybody to do for them. You didn't change my bandages when I wanted you to change my bandages. You didn't put the medicine on my wounds when I wanted you to. Let's translate this into a fantasy, going back to our little dating example. That fantasy you had of what this man was supposed to do for you. Remember that? Remember that fantasy you had of what that woman was supposed to do for you? But then some things happened and that woman or that man didn't live up to expectations. And so now what? What do? We get rid of them, right? Isn't that what society says? It's time to trade him. It's time to get an upgrade. It's time to trade her. It's time to get an upgrade. That's why some men go on those different websites as well as women, looking at this one and that one, because they're looking for the next upgrade. They think that they can pull in the next one if they just tweak themselves a bit. And some of them are quite good at doing that. That's how they got you, right? They know how to present themselves in such a way where folks say, yes, I want to be with this person. And there's nothing wrong with putting your best foot forward. We do it when it comes to jobs. We do it when we first meet someone. Okay. And then over time, the person figures out whether or not you are indeed somebody worth knowing. Okay. Brokenness, though, when it is evident, when it is there, when it is out there to be seen by all, it's hard to cover it up after a while. Yeah, the makeup may have covered it. Maybe this shirt in the nice shirt by some designer may have covered it up. Maybe that really expensive watch and those pricey shoes may have covered some things up, right? But people after a while get to know some things about you. Sometimes some people dress in a way where brokenness isn't covered up. A woman wearing a mini skirt that barely covers her private parts, that's brokenness that's not even covered up. Or how about a midriff that's so low to the point where, well, there's nothing left for the imagination. That's brokenness that's not covered up. Or someone who may have had shades on, right, covering their sad looking eyes, and then they take the shades off when you meet them and you see that there's something a little bit off in their eyes. That's brokenness not covered up. Sometimes God allows people to behave in such a way to expose themselves so that we don't get mixed up in their brokenness. But we don't take that as a cue. Instead, we call that sexy. Instead, we say, "Oh, you got some pretty eyes." You see? They take their hat off. "Oh, you got some pretty hair." Some folks in the black community know exactly what I'm talking about. But God said, "Oh, but there's something going on in there. There's something going on inside that person's spirit. There's some things that are, happening, and it's time for you to see things for what they truly are." That pretty hair that you're commenting about, okay, that's part of their vanity. They absolutely use their hair and their makeup, and they use their pretty eyes, and they use, being half dressed to pull people in. And then once they pull them in, then they put them into an entangled mess of stuff, and then they end up cheating on them because guess what? There's more like you out there that like my broken self. You see? So I'm trying to pull your coats, if you will, tap you on the shoulder and tell you that when you're out here and you're looking for different people, and you may be in a relationship, which you shouldn't be looking for other folks, but I know some do, okay? That be mindful that brokenness, if you're already going through much, you're going to attract yet another broken person, just like you or maybe worse. It's just a matter of time. So while you're running away from this broken person, guess what you're going to run into? Another one. Oh, well, maybe this time if I date even younger, maybe things won't be so bad. Maybe if I date somebody who doesn't have any kids, maybe things won't be so bad. Maybe if I just get involved with a man who hasn't been married so much, maybe things will be different. Maybe if I just don't get caught up with, somebody who's chasing after money, maybe things will be different. Let me tell you something. Things aren't going to be any more different as long as you got brokenness all over you, as long as you are exuding some broken stuff. As long as you are trying to do everything in your own strength, you're going to get more of the same. Because you don't want to look at the fact that there are areas in your life that God has yet to heal, and you don't spend enough time with him for him to cut away a lot of that stuff. Some of you all, not all. And so because you don't do that, then you get what you deserve. And some folks have even put that curse upon some people and said, "You know what? I hope you get what you deserve." And you're walking in that thing right now. And some of you all are trying to push that thing away. No, I don't want to walk in this because I realize it's nothing but a curse. For some folks, though, it isn't a curse. What it is it's a sparring partner for you. Somebody who's not fearful of going there with you. That person is meant to be in your life for a set time period, whether they eventually break up with you or they end up dying. But that sparring partner is going to help you, believe it or not, go into heaven. Because you are going to keep going to the Lord, praying and asking the Lord to help you through your situation with this broken person as well as your broken self. So I thank you as always for taking the time out to listen, and to God be the glory.